Hello! Welcome to the first annual Tubes WNBA Playoffs Bracket. I am Nathan Miller, aka Tubes, and as most of you would recall, last spring I completed an NBA Playoffs Bracket where I predicted the winners of who would take over in the NBA Conference quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and of course the NBA Finals. And I'm doing the same here in my WNBA Playoffs Bracket, except there's a new twist to this. I've decided to add in what is obviously the NCAA Playoff Style. Obviously the WNBA doesn't use this, but it's just to provide a fun approach for this. So anyway, you know all the hoopla now. Now let's get down to the real business. In the Eastern Conference Prelims East Region Finals between the Dream and the Mystics. Now the Dream, they're a team that sat at top for a while, but they ended on the wrong note. They lost 6 of 8, but maybe if they can get it going, maybe they could win this. Angel McCoughtry, she doesn't like to lose, and she always plays with a chip on her shoulder. Remember, she finished the season with 21 points per game in her sophomore campaign, and that's third in the association. But however, here's the Mystics. They pieced together a season-best 6-game win streak and swept everyone from number 3 to number 1 in the Eastern Conference. They've won 3 of 4 against Atlanta, and head coach Julie Plank admitted that they had to rely on a win-by-committee approach after losing 4-time All-Star Elena Beard for the season. With Curry, Harding, Langhorne, and Smith on the floor, there was little concern for Washington to produce, especially since Langhorne was 2009 Most Improved Player of the Year. She assumes a pivotal role of a center-on-guard heavy team that isn't afraid of shooting the ball. She averaged almost double-doubles and had 16.3 points per game with almost 10 rebounds per game this year. So in 3 games, I like the Mystics to be the East Region Finals champions. In 3 games. Now, in the Eastern Conference Prelims, South Region Finals, it's the Liberty and the Fever. Now, Tamika Catchings has made it clear through her words that she really wants to make another trip to the WNBA Finals in her 9th year. Indiana has 2 separate 5-game winning streaks and have remained ripe with talent ever since adding in Shavonte Zealous from Tulsa in a trade on May 27th. The veterans Toli Bafalakwa, Kitty Douglas, and Tammy Sutton Brown add a degree of leadership and experience for Indiana in which the teammates help rally behind. And it's evident since Douglas and Sutton Brown's contracts have both been extended. However, for both teams, there's one simple game plan. Stick with what works, because with MVP players like Cappie Pondexter and Tamika Catchings, this will be a treat for all fans between this 2-3 matchup. But in 3 games, I like the New York Liberty, mainly because it's all about home court advantage. Remember, Cappie Pondexter, she erupted on July 18th with 40 points. I know it was a 3-point loss, but look for her to almost produce the same type of results in Game 3 as she points out the key weaknesses in the Fever defense. So, in the South Region Finals, I like the New York Liberty, the 2 seed. Now we hibernate and turn our attention to the Western Conference Prelims West Region Finals between the Storm and the Sparks. Now for the Sparks, this isn't going to look pretty. They were among the last in rebounding totals. They've given up nearly 80 points a game, 81 to be exact, which is a franchise worst. Jennifer Gillum, she's been trusting too much of the bench and resting those banged up starters. I don't think they're even ready to weather the storm in Seattle if they want to make a return to the WNBA Finals. Brian Egler, he's looking for some wood to knock on because he finally gets Lauren Jackson for the first time in his 3 playoff years. She battles well down low in the post. Despite the lack of minutes, she has the ability to win games even when they're playing bad. That pretty much explains why they're 28-6. So in 2 games, I like the Seattle Storm. taking the sweep. Now we turn our attention to the Western Conference Prelims Midwest Region Finals between the Silver Stars and the Mercury. For Phoneix, they've alternate attack this year by virtue of departing superstar Cabby Pondexter and an arrival of perennial all-star Candice Dupree. Now it's clear for San Antonio that, well, with the Mercury, they've always seemed to come out on top in 2 prior playoff meetings. So defending Diana Taurasi, will be the top priority for coaches Olaf Lang and Sandy Brondello. Phoneix, they're very well known for their up-tempo game and affinity. Their offense is way better up, with Dupree, Dewana Bonner, and Kara Braxton. Phoneix has mobile bigs that can rebound with anyone. The X factor could be Penny Taylor because she puts up outstanding numbers, which get overlooked when she plays along Taurasi and Dupree. This combined firepower could be too much for San Antonio to handle. But home court does play advantage for both teams, so in 3 games, I'm going to go with the 2-seed Phoneix Mercury. Now let's refocus our attention back to the Eastern Conference, where it is the Eastern Conference Finals between the Mystics and the Liberty. New York, they've lived up to a franchise-best 10 consecutive wins. They were 9-1 in August and finished the second half of the season at 15-3. Pondexter finished with 21 points per game, and especially both Mitchell and Powell averaged 9 points per game. Inside the paint is very key when McWilliams, Franklin, McCarville, and Pearson add indecent size to destruct their opponents. But let's remember, New York led the WNBA in 3-point percentage. This will go 3, and the field goal percentages overall, 45.1 by the Mystics, 45.3 by the Liberty, are just obviously almost the same. But I'm leaning on New York in this one in an upset alert because it will come down to Cappy. You just can't score 77 points per game against New York. There's no way that can happen, and that's what the Mystics did all regular season long. They were 11th in that statistics, so I like the 2-seed Liberty to advance to the WNBA Finals in 3 games. And now it's the Western Conference Finals between the Storm and the Mercury. Now for Seattle, Sue Bird's yearly averages of 11 points and 5.8 assists per game have exemplified her work and team first attitude. Swin Cash's 13.8 points per game and 6 rebounds per game shows the Storm that she is a reliable starter and rebounder. Shooter, of course, second only to Lauren Jackson's 20.5 points per game and 8.3 rebounds per game. Jackson's year was nothing short of personal accolades either, while she racked up 3 Player of the Month and 5 Player of the Week honors. But there's no denying that Lauren Jackson is finally to pursue winning a championship. Overall, Seattle, they just got more depth than the Mercury, but I do expect this to be 3 games, so in 3 games it will be Seattle. Moving on to the WNBA Finals. And so yes, this is it. This is it. It's the WNBA Finals between the Storm and the Liberty. Now let's remember though, Seattle, they have a 2-0 regular series over New York. They have 3 players in the top 10 3-point percentage in the Western Conference. Flashback, July 6th. Swin Cash, 20 points. Sue Bird scores 11 of 16 points in the 4th quarter. They rally to win. Now, for New York, 4 players in the top 10 3-point field goal percentage in the Eastern Conference. Flashback, July 6th. McWilliams Franklin goes 7 for 9, 20 points. Pondexter and McCarville were over the limit on fouls. They combined for 9 personal fouls. Flashback for both teams, June 18th. Pondexter, 24 points. Mitchell, McWilliams, Franklin, and Pearson combined for 34 points. Good, but not great at free throw percentage. And for the Storm, on June 18th, Bird scores 13 of 22 points in the 4th quarter. Jackson, Tanisha Wright, and Cash combined for 54 points, and they were lights out from three-point range. And they opened the fourth quarter with a 10-2 run. But overall, I like Seattle in 4 games. I think New York is just going to burn out and completely fade away. The fatigue will settle in on New York. And Seattle, the Seattle Storm, will be your 2010 WNBA champions. In 4 games. So there you have it. The Seattle Storm in my opinion, will be the WNBA champions. And enjoy these WNBA playoffs.